You've got this great comic book idea going, but you don't know if you should write out the dialogue first or start drawing it first. In this video, I'll take a deep dive into the structure midpoint of one of my best-selling comics to explain the process. It's a video everyone can get something out of, whether you're an artist or writer or both. Hi, my name is Tim Larsen, creator of titles such as Mayfield 8, co-creator of Double Barrel. Check out www.timsnotebook.com for more info. Here, I take a passage from Mayfield 8 Part 3, a police chase, a biker gang, and a man and a woman on the run. From there, I show you how to structure your pages to allow for dialogue, to allow for action, and how to create a flow. I think you'll like it.
Okay, here are a few pages from my comic book series Mayfield 8. It's a story that is set in the past, in the 1970s. It has this very gritty grindhouse style of action. And these few pages in part 3 of the story illustrate the difference between dialogue-heavy parts and action-oriented parts, and how you can use both to help your story along. For someone who's both the artist and the writer, like myself, it's kind of a no-brainer, but for some writer and an artist team, this might be something to think about when you are creating a comic book and you're trying to work in a more fluid and collaborative sense. But let's begin here. I'll set up the story a little bit. We have a young man and a woman escaping the destruction in the distance, this big column of smoke coming from a fire. He was involved in some violent events, but he's okay, but he's covered in blood. There is a police car, like a souped up Dodge Challenger that's been turned into a police pursuit vehicle, and it's actually going towards the fire. It's not interested in the pickup truck. And yet there are people that are after the woman and the guy in the pickup truck, and that you see in the next page. It's the biker gang. The bikers want to stop them. So there's guys shooting at them, and because there's this big fire, more police were called in to go see what's going on with the fire. But then they come across, this pickup truck and these bikers shooting at them. As you can see, they fly right by the truck. They see the bikers. They suddenly hit the brakes. They swerve around, and then they're coming off to chase them. And then, so now all the action is moving in the same direction. And the woman driving the pickup truck decides to go off the road to kick up dust and prevent the bikers from following her and the young man. And it works. They can't see anything, so they just decide to stop. But then there's cops behind them, and the cops kind of create this big jam at the bottom here. And then the next page is a double page splash. We finally get to see the origin of the fire, and it's, this cop is here first on the scene witnessing it. It's the biker bar that's burning to the ground, and that's why the bikers were chasing the woman and the kid. They think that they are responsible for the destruction of this bar. They blew it up. And then the next scene, we stay here in this scene. The next few panels, we see the fire department come. The officer is hanging out there and asking questions. The backstory to this officer, you can kind of tell by his look, he's kind of an evil guy. He has maybe some incriminating stuff going on in the back of the biker bar that he wants to make sure doesn't get uncovered while they're putting out the blaze. and he's having an argument with the fire chief here to go in there and make those guys clear out that back room. And he's saying, well, hell no, we're just going to contain the blaze. That's all we're going to do right now. And State Trooper, he gets angry. He just punches him in the face and pouts. He just sits in his patrol car and he's just sitting there and waiting for the blaze to go down. And then the last 2 pages I'm going to show you in the passage of this book. Now we go to a remote motel in the middle of the night. It's been a while now. It was daytime before. Now it's turning into night, and it's the woman and the young man holed up in a motel and temporarily safe from the bikers, from the cops, from everybody. So let's that was the setup. Let's go back to the beginning here then. Okay, so we've got action. And we've got parts where you need to explain a few things. And I would say this first page here, a few things need to be explained. Like, for example, in my story, I needed to have the young man, he needed access to the motorcycle. So she's complaining that while they're trying to get away from the bikers, when that biker bar blew up and burned, they had to stall for a bit, throwing his motorcycle in the bed of the truck and tying it down. Now we have the bikers catching up to them and shooting at them, and I don't have any dialogue here. I don't need it. And this is a part where you just let the story kind of unfold. And I think these 2 pages worked really well in a very cinematic way. I worked with a conscious effort to create. I didn't have any speed lines in here. I take that back. There's speed lines up here, but apart from all these little white lines behind these guys, up, and I see a few right here. There are not too many speed lines. Or there's one behind the cop car there. A lot of these lines are kind of designed to propel the action forward and to make it very cinematic. I thought that these 3 panels here especially look very, very cinematic. Like we're getting closer to the cop cars. The asphalt on the ground is just a blur. You can tell they're going like 70, 80 miles an hour, something like that. And they're nice, big, chunky, heavy 1970s grindhouse state trooper cars. Okay? By the way, I made a mistake. This is set in the Southwest U.S., and I colored these cars like they were from a city. Like the black and white tends to be, or dark blue and white, that tends to be a city type of cop car. Out in the country, you would probably get an all white or all tan or all yellow kind of car. Anyway, it was too late. I already designed a few of them, and by the time I realized that, I just did artistic license. Okay. Maybe these were like recently purchased from the state of New York, and they hadn't gotten time to repaint the whole police cars. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So now we have the cops witnessing the bikers shooting at the pickup truck, and so they got to go full stop. And again, I just use this panel down here to illustrate that. The tires complaining. They slam the shifter to low gear. Whatever they hit the brake pedal, low gear to pick up speed quickly. And then the tires are chirping. They're doing a burnout. Now they're in pursuit. They're getting closer and closer to the bikers, and they're explaining on the radio that shots are fired. They're chasing. And then the woman here, she says, I got an idea. And the young man's complaining, what are you doing? Just stay on the road. The dirt's just going to slow us down. And she says, dirt's our friend. And this illustrates what she's doing here. Going back and forth, back and forth. Again, the words on these 2 pages are kind of just lightly put in there a little bit that helps the story along, but not too much. These bikers are saying, where'd they go? That just kind of makes it obvious to the reader that they don't have enough visibility to safely chase this pickup truck. They have to kind of stop where they are. But then that allows these two squad cars to catch up to them. So now it's a jumbled up mess at the very, very end here. Now I go to the next page, and it's the payoff to that column of smoke you saw on the beginning. This is the source of that smoke. The biker bar itself is burning to the ground. There was an explosion and a fire, and this police officer, again, who's kind of shady, he wonders what the hell's going on here. And now he's doing a little detective work. In the story, the young man had a friend who died in the blaze, and his motorcycle got left behind. This friend supplies this cop with his drugs, his recreational drugs, and he wonders, where did he go to? Why did he leave his bike behind? So he's asking around a few questions without putting him on the spot. And then he wants to make these firefighters, go in and clear out the back, and they refuse. And again, I'm showing the passage of time here. The law officer is just sitting in his patrol car waiting for the blaze to die down. And now we have more dialogue starting at the bottom of this page on the left and on the right. She's explaining she spent all day driving around trying to lose anybody that might be chasing them or following them, taking back roads. Now the evening has descended upon them, and she went outside. That's why she's coming back from the store. She's got some drinks. She bought some tequila and a change of clothes for him to get out of the bloody clothes, and she's explaining how dangerous these bikers are to him. Okay, and you notice I took the time to create this scene inside of this hotel room for them to do the talking. In fact, the hotel room is kind of a device to get them together. In fact, I can't really show the next page because of YouTube restrictions, but something kind of adult happens on the next page. You can guess what. And this scene is kind of a device to allow for some exposition, for some explanation what the characters are going to do next. The woman, she's saying that she's going to just try and disappear, just take whatever money she has and just leave, just go. And she's suggesting to the young man, you do the same. So that's why I left this motorcycle in the bed of her truck, so that there isn't any question that he's got mobility when they hole up in that motel. So there's that kind of storytelling structure there, or visually you have to remember to put a few key things in because you're thinking a few pages ahead. But this is, these pages right here, to sum up, are a good example of understanding, letting the action tell the story, but then if there's words to be spoken, if there's conversations that have to take place, you could say hanging around the fire is also kind of a space holder for conversation to happen, because the cop has to interact with people and kind of, we have to understand how far is he in the story, what does he know, what is he up to, okay? And then no dialogue here because I want to show the passage of time. The background is getting darker and darker and darker. A few more empty panels, but then back to a lot of talking. So to sum it up, you have this balance of visuals with no dialogue, but then a backdrop in which to have a small conversation operate, and it has a comfortable kind of space for it to operate in.
Great. I hope you got something out of it. As a bonus offer, I'm selling the comic book featured here, Mayfield 8 Part 3, at a low price of 50% off, good until May 31st, 2025. Click on the link below and enter CHASE in the discount code upon checkout. Next time, we discuss the three major art aspects of a comic book page: penciling, inking, and coloring, and how they relate to each other. Thank you very much for your time, and remember to like this page and to subscribe to see more videos coming up. Thank you very much. You have a great day.